In this video, we're going to take a look at transforming this picture into a painting using one of my favorite plugins from Topaz Labs. That's going to be Topaz Impressions. Right, the first thing I do is come over to the Layers panel. We're going to use Command J, Control J, that's Command J, Control J, to duplicate the background layer. We're now going to go up to Filter. We're going to come down to Topaz Labs, and from the flyout menu, we're going to go to Topaz Impression. So clicking on that. Takes a little while for the plugin to load. There's a lot going on in the background. It's loading all of the presets here. This is from the featured menu. I'll come back to this in just a second. When it's finished, it'll probably load the top one, which is going to be charcoal 1, which it's now doing. There it is. Now these presets make excellent start positions. You may click on some and you may think, yeah, I really like that, and go straight down and click on OK. Or you can start to let your creative juices flow. And when I said about the featured menu here, you've also got these as well. Now bearing in mind that this picture was taken in France, how about a little bit of an impressionistic look to it? So let's click on that. We've now got Cézanne at the top there. If I just click on it once it's finished loading, there it is. There's Cézanne 1, got Cézanne 2. We've also got Impasto 1, which is quite a nice oil paint effect. We've also got Impasto 2. There's a huge amount here. There's a couple of Monets, so you can do some real old master type looks as well. Okay, let's come back to this one. And as I said, these can make really good start positions. We're going to click on this little icon here. Now this is showing everything that's gone to make up this image. If we just take a look, we got the brushes here. You can scroll through and there's dozens of different brushes you can choose from. Selecting ones such as this here, we got type 07, and you can see we've got a different look again. If I click on this one, we're starting to get a little bit of a sketch effect. So you can change the way your image is looking. I'm going to come back up. I'm going to click on this using that type 1 brush there. That looks pretty good. We're going to zoom in. Let's take a closer look at the picture. I'm going to come straight to the magnifying glass. Clicking on that, it's taking me into 62.7% of the picture. We've now got this little preview screen as well, so we can click down, we can scroll our way around. That looks pretty good like that. I'm going to start to take the size of the brush up into that sort of area there. What we got, 57, 58, 56 even. Like the way that's starting to look. Got some nice features coming through here. Paint volume, let's take that up even further, see what that does. Yeah, liking the way that's looking, yeah, nice like that. A little bit further again, perhaps, just trying that. Great, that'll do nicely. We got the paint opacity. You can drop the paint opacity down, see what that does. And nope, let's take it up into the opposite direction. Let's go to 70, let's go to the 80s, into this area. Just the sort of effect I'm after. I really like this yeah, oil paint effect. That looks pretty good like that. Right, we've now got the stroke rotation. If you take this up into that area, see what that does. And no, don't think we'll use that. All you need to do, if you've got a setting you don't like, is come over the text. If you click on the text, it sets it back to zeros, and that'll restore it. Right, color variation, a little bit of a psychedelic look going on there in his denim. So clicking on that, let's get rid of it. And there it is, job done. Right. Stroke width, let's just bring it up again. I'm looking around this area here. Now the stroke width, let's just take that down very slightly into the 40s. Yeah, just make it a little bit thinner. The stroke length, I quite like the way that is. Worth trying it a bit further, seeing how that is. No, let's drop it back into the opposite direction, and no, I'm going to take it back to roughly where it was. Let's go into, where was it, 63 I think, wasn't it? Always try and make a mental note of the number before adjusting it. There, that looks pretty good like that. Spill, let's take the spill up. The spill is going to be where these little spots are here. You can see that's exaggerated it, taking it back to 0, and that looks better like that. Smudge tends to be one of my favourite. Take it right up, see what this does to the picture, and that nice sort of smudgy effect. Quite like that. I'm going to drop it back into the position it was, which I think was the 11. Leaving it like that, I think, will look pretty good. Right, one of the others we've got here under brushes is coverage. Now with the coverage, if we start to move this in, you'll notice these have now popped up. If we go out to fit on screen, so I'm going to click on the magnifying glass one more time to take me to 100, then we're going to go to fit on screen. Now with the transition, if I just move this back, You can see it gives a bit of a light vignette when it moves in, he says. Now you can see that light vignette that I was talking about, and you can start to explore and you can start to work with this, and I'm going to perhaps move it into that area there, and you can see the way you can just sort of gently bring it into the image. Don't think I'll be using this though. Clicking on coverage just resets it all. Right, when you've finished and when you're happy with the brushes, just click, you can fold it up out of the way. Next we got color. Now with color we're starting off, this is the overall saturation, as we can see here. Where you've got the blue line indicates that it's been applied, and we got the saturation taken up to 25. We got the overall lightness taken up to 0.6. That looks pretty good. Perhaps I just want to give the red a little bit more saturation, so I'm going to click on the reds. I'm going to take the red saturation up just a touch or two into that area there. Looks pretty good like that. A little bit more in the orange as well. As you bring your cursor over it, you'll notice that crosshatch effect showing you exactly where it's going to be applied. So just a bit more in the orange like this. Great stuff. That will do nicely. I don't want to overdo the colours, so I'm going to come back to the overall saturation. Just going to rein that in a little bit into that area there. Looks pretty good. Right, let's go for the greens. Just bringing my cursor over the greens. You'll see the way the crosshatch is showing around this area here. Just want to give those, or that head should I say, just a bit more saturation. Just taking that up, dropping the green lightness down just to darken it in color a little bit. There, brilliant stuff. Right, a little bit in the blues, just taking the blues up. This is going to be around this area here and in the door, and once again just taking the lightness down, just making him a little bit darker, just perhaps into that area. Great stuff. That will do nicely. Once again, you can see what's been applied. You've got those little blue lines underneath. There's no line underneath that yellow there, or underneath this, I think it's aqua. So yeah, that looks brilliant. Let's fold this up out of the way. We've now got the lightness. You can make it brighter. You can see it's already been set to 0.8 with this. We've got a contrast of 0.6. I quite like that, so I'm not going to make any changes here. Light direction. This is actually quite important. Let's zoom in again to this area here. Let's just move the light direction around. And as you move the light direction around, look at the effect that it has on that paint there. I think this is absolutely fantastic. They've done a brilliant job with this plugin, and to be able to allow you to do that, absolutely amazing. Let's have a look at the sky there and just moving it out into that position, and you can see look how much sharper that's made the brush strokes, moving it into this position. Just try it, see which one works the best for the image and the type of image that you've got. I think it's going to be probably, yeah, that's a bit too much. This one here that we applied, yeah, I like that, just moving it in very, very slightly just to tone it down a touch or two, just back a minute amount into that area. Yeah, that'll do. Right, now that we've done that, we're going to fold this up out of the way. Let's take a look. We've got texture. We've got this one applied by default. There is no strength to it. As you move the strength across, you'll notice size also comes into play. You can just see the texture now starting to come through. Let's move it up a little bit further. Once again, it's worth having a look through. There are hundreds of different, well, all right, dozens of different textures there, and everything from damaged asphalt right the way down to wood plank down the bottom. So it is well worth experimenting with these as well. I'm going to come back up to the texture I've got, which is the canvas. That's this one here. That looks pretty good like that. I'm just going to drop the strength down. I just want it to be subtly as part of the background. That looks pretty good like that. Let's just move it into that area. Brilliant stuff. Right, one final thing. You've also got the background here. Now, it's not going to show with this, but if you went for a sketch effect, this is where you'd see the background. Switching it to solid, it looks a bit more like a painted effect. Not going to see anything here, but you can also change the color of the background as well. One more thing, down the bottom, we have also got strength. This is where you can change the strength of the preset that you put in, reducing it down into that area. You can see the way we can bring through more detail there. Let's take it up into probably into the mid 80s would look pretty good. Let's take it back to 100 so you can just see the difference. There it is at 100%. Just taking it down into 87, just a little bit more, 85, bit more detail there. Great stuff. That will do nicely. Just having a quick look around the picture. Let's click on 100% and you can see there's the detail with the paintwork. It's done a fantastic job. I like that. So we're going to click on the magnifying glass to take me back to fit in view. If you do produce an effect that you think, wow, that looks fantastic, you can click on the little plus symbol. You can then add it to your own presets, give it a name, put it in the category or a tag that you wanted to go in, and click on save. I'm going to click cancel. We're going to go to OK, and that's now going to apply it to the picture. Let's zoom right in. I'm going to use Command 1, Control 1. We've gone into 100%. I've got the hand tool selected so I can click. We can have a good look around the picture. Once again, because we use layers, we can always come to the opacity. We can just blend it in a little bit more should you want to. Perhaps something like that there, just to see a little bit more detail in the face. Great stuff. Really like this paint of the effects. It's yeah, really does suit the subject matter. Zoom in out using Command 0, Control 0. Go on, give it a try. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to receive all the latest videos as they are being produced. But until the next time, it is happy imaging and take care.